Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. The decision sets in. One that will churn your skin. It's Friday night, and the drinks are on my mind. I was right. Let them have their time. Decision sets in. One that will turn your skin. This notion is Friday. Let's keep these wheels in motion. Drinks are on my mind. That is right. In motion. Let them have their time. Decision sets in. One that will turn your skin. This notion is Friday. Let's keep these wheels in motion. Drinks are on my mind. That is right. In motion. Let them have their time. Anytime it's something is absurd, but until then you leave your words. Bring it on, bring it on. Now it's time to defend your lies. The lies you've been feeding me all this time. I'm weary of them. Oh, darling. You say that you listen, but yours they seem irrelevant, but still carry on. Now it's time to defend your lies. The lies you've been feeding me all this time. I'm weary of them. Oh, darling. How you wish to pretend I'm worried. When we pretend that we have something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
race fans, I'm Porritt here, Black Flag Racing TV, and this is round number 3 of the very, very popular endurance series Staying Power, and we are almost a full lobby this evening. Quick look at a recap from last week. That was how last week finished at Spa. Kevin wins that race. That's 2 from 2 so far for him. 25 nice juicy points for him. Full lobby we started with. Flimsy was having such a good run, and you can see from his fastest up there at 2:05.5, but he got disconnected early on, and we lost Milkman in that race as well, unfortunately. This is how it leaves the overall league table. Let me turn it down a little bit. This is how it leaves the overall league table. Kevin with 2 wins from 2 is already 10 points clear at the top. Sturpan on 40 points in second. Can't make this evening though, Sturpan, so that gap will increase. Wendigo in third, 34 points for him. GMAC, who's also not here this evening, in fourth on 32 points. As I said, this is week number 3. Suzuka was week 1. Week 2 last week was the Spa 24-hour circuit, which we completed. And Dry Bones Malone jumping in right at the last minute. Awesome timing. Here this evening we're at St. Croix. This is the C layout. We're in the Group 1 cars today. This is going to be really fast-paced racing. And there we got it. It's a French track. 10.8 kilometres, very, very long track, 6.7 miles, 24 turns only though, for quite a long racetrack, which means there's a lot of long straights, and lots of slipstream opportunities. Tarmac road, of course, it's an original circuit, it's named after it. There is a place called St. Croix in France, but it doesn't have a racetrack on it, at least not to my knowledge anyway. I need to... There we go, that's down a bit better, much better, isn't it? So here we go. Right, this is the lineup, and it is reverse championship order. Anyone that's new to the race goes at the back anyway. They don't get the benefit of starting out front. It just wouldn't be right. So, clear to go, or Rob in the 919 will be on pole, joined on that front row by Old Man Jay, both running the 919. Bandit in the 908 HDI FAP. He's on row 2 and he's got Stormfly with him in the 919 hybrid. There's lots of Porsches today. Demos and Arminis on row 3. Row 4 will be Midas and TJ, them both as well in that 919. Wendigo in the LM55 is on row 5 with Kevin in the 919 just behind him. And we've got 5 runners that weren't previously in the race, and having the first race, I thought Thanos was already in the competition. I do want to check that because I'm pretty sure Thanos has already raced. I could be wrong. Hold the line, caller, while I just check that. No, he hasn't. Clearly he hasn't. Okay, cool. I do stand corrected. So we've got Knudsen, who's just joined us today. Welcome, Knudsen. Thanos Pleasurecraft, Dry Bones Malone. We saw him racing last night in the F1 race last night. Good performance from him yesterday, and he's running in 14th. And that's it. The race will begin shortly. I will jump in, and we will get cracking.
Everybody strap in.
Thanks very much for that, Mr. Jackson. Here we go. So, race will begin. And in we go. Right, we have 14 runners here at St. Croix. And it's a decent run down to turn 1. So we should, hopefully, not see too much grief into turn 1. And we've got that really annoying thing when music carries through into the race, when it's really bloody shouldn't. Let's go with some information. And that's the 5 lights. We are away here, and a great start from Bandit. Straight away into jumping up towards the front. Clear to go. All you losing 4 places. Old Man Jay gets caught by Demos. Demos ready up into the lead of this race. That's a really good position to be in. A big move there from Rob. Tries to big dive, but doesn't work out for him. And it is all side by side racing as Kevin edging his way forward, already up to 3rd place. What a load of moving, that's loads of movement going on. So Demos gets into the lead of the race here. Old Man Jay holding on in 2nd, and Old Man Jay has hit the wall.
You can't park that there, mate.
And he's got to get his car back round and onto the racetrack again. Bandit's had a problem because he's back in 14th. Old Man Jay in 13th. There's Rob. He's down in 12th place. So some battling going on the back. Knudsen, he's still in 11th place. Now it's a 2-hour race, remember. You've got to use 2 compounds, mediums and softs. So it's all about just getting your laps in. Stormfly dropping down to 11th. Knudsen makes that overtake. Dry Bones Malone. I need to change his mind. I've got him. I want leave it like that. Dry Bones Malone, there he is in 9th place. Currently holding off Knudsen at the moment, but Knudsen's going to be coming fast. We know how quick this guy is. There is Thanos in 8th place, just 6/10 behind Pleasurecraft. Of course, Pleasurecraft is that far. There's the radio racing team. The back end of Thanos then. Who's that? Facing in the wrong direction. That's TJ and Stormfly, both.
You can't park that there, mate.
Yeah, so lap one, and already we're seeing quite a lot of carnage.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? Right, so let's run from the front. So it is two Greek drivers, Demos and Kevin, already starting to pull out their little gap out in front. Half a second clear is Demos from Kevin. Already the gap back to Arminis up in third is 5 seconds. All that carnage all over the racetrack has just allowed these guys to edge their way forward and leave themselves a nice big gap out in front. Behind the Lithuanian Arminis is another Lithuanian Peshcraft, 8 tenths back, and he's got Wendigo, another Lithuanian, just behind him. 4 tenths is the difference between him and the back of Pleasurecraft. Then we've got Thanos. Thanos is still involved in there. He's not too far from the back of Wendigo, just half a second back. Half a second back then to Midas, with Knudsen crawling all over the back of his move, he's able to pull out and move in. He's certainly close enough to trouble him enough, but just not in a position to make that overtake. And we will do it on board. Once this race is settled down, we'll do it on board. So I'll show you that bit. Great exit there from Knudsen. He's sticking to that outside line and dives back up the inside when he sees it being covered off. He's got great slipstream from Thanos. Can he make the move? It looks like he might make this move on Midas. Midas comes across a little bit, little tap, but does survive. And Knudsen not able to make that move. They are still side by side here. Look at that. And Midas just edging ahead of him again. But again, Knudsen with that extra little bit of impetus just makes the overtake. And should into this turn here, slot in. It's a big braking zone. It's the first real big braking zone of the lap. And he does make that move stick. He's up into 7th place. Great overtake from him. Next target for him is Thanos up in 6th place. Now obviously Midas is now behind in 8th. 4.1 seconds back to TJ. There he is running in 9th place. He's got himself a little bit of a gap for himself for his car at the moment. 3.7 seconds to Midas ahead, and 7.4 seconds to Dry Bones Malone behind him. He's got Stormfly bearing down on the back of him. Now, good evening, Gary. How the bloody hell are you, my friend? How the bloody hell are you? Just seeing you pop up there. It was all going off a little bit, so I wasn't really paying attention to the chat. Yeah, Dry Bones Malone is running. Oh, that's really wide. You don't want to be going wide there. That one's especially for Rob, of course. So he drops down. Rob goes ahead of him. Stormfly goes ahead of him. Although Rob then cleared to go with a half-second penalty to serve. He's 4.6 seconds to go, Stormfly, but now 2.5 clear. Dry Bones Malone. 5 seconds almost up the road. Oh man, Joe, we saw him spin out. I think it was turn 2 of lap 1, and it just went horribly wrong for him. So he's got some work to do now to close up the gap on Dry Bones and Rob ahead of him. But Bandit is having an absolutely torrid time. And again he's off the track. He's off the track, and Bandit made this.
You can't park that there, mate.
He's back 15.8 seconds back. In terms of fuel and tyres, we'll have a little look and see what everyone is rocking. So there we go. That is the current tyre situation. Bandit's on the soft compound tyres, and so he'll try and run those as long as possible. Bear in mind, only half a tank of fuel left already at this stage. So mediums, I think medium tyres across the board. Stormfly running on the soft, so if he wants those soft tyres to work, he's going to have to make some places up, because right now he is back in 10th place. But just puts in a purple sector. Fastest lap, of course, is in Kevin with a 53.6. Arminis is on the medium tyres, as is Knudsen, who is back down in 8th place. TJ starting to make some big moves forward. Medium tyres for him, medium tyres for TJ. His next target is Thanos, who is just 6 tenths up the road. I thought for a second someone was diving in the pits, which would be a ridiculous thing to do at this stage. Thanos is just 2 seconds back from his Midas. There is Midas closing in on Pleasurecraft. 1.5 seconds is the gap to Pleasurecraft. And he's got that because he's fun to ride now. Sorry, man. 1 second up the road is Wendigo. Where is Arminis? Arminis, I think he's had a problem. He's way down the order. 13th place he's gone down to. Don't know what's happened there. He didn't have a great start, mate. He did spin out, but he didn't like his truck anyway. He hadn't seen the facts. So I can't. That's basically it. That's why he's so far back. He hates the track. He's learning in the other direction, and he didn't have a great start. A few drivers spun really early on, which is why Demos and Kevin have already built up such a huge gap out front. 11.8 seconds ahead of Wendigo already is Kevin 77, and he's just tucked in behind his compatriot Demos, who's 6/10 clear. So that's it's a little bit odd. As we see, it's starting to get dark already, and last week it was weird because obviously the cameras didn't work, neither did the weather, so it just stayed the same, but now we should see a bit of track evolution. It's a bit dingy in a minute, it's going to get darker at some point, so it's about finding your rhythm, finding your breakpoints there. Kevin pulling out, he's going to make this overtake and take the lead of this race, the current championship leader into the lead of the race here at St. Croix, and it's him and Demos just pulling away from the rest of the pack at the moment. Wendigo, best of the rest, he's in the LM55, it's a beautiful looking car. Very good looking car. Incredibly difficult to put a fucking livery on. As we see Pleasurecraft and Midas battling it out there for fourth place. Pleasurecraft is holding Midas off behind him. He's also in that LM55. Midas running in the car is the 919. Lagging all over the place. I don't know what it is about the a few of the Greek drivers seem to have connection problems. I was talking to Kevin earlier, and he's got an issue with one of his drivers, Canada's got an issue with joining some people's rooms, and I mean his upload speed is quite low, which probably doesn't help, but it's very difficult to work out why these problems are happening. And I wonder if there's anything to do with the internet infrastructure in the country. I don't know what the answer is. There's Midas making that move on Pleasurecraft, but doesn't make it stick. The superior straight line speed, I think that LM55, just seeing out there. TJ up to 6th place, and he's just up inside of Midas, but Midas looking to do a little switcheroo. That's a great little overtake for TJ. Get himself back up into the top 5 after a spin early on. Didn't expect that, but all we see now is
stolen my dreams, my childhood, your empty words.
Another move from TJ on Pleasurecraft. Doesn't make that one stick this time. Has to tuck back into 5th place, but goes again up the inside of Pleasurecraft. Makes the move. He's up into the top 4. TJ having a great race here. Absolutely great race. McDonald's Wi-Fi. That's it. It could be McDonald's Wi-Fi. That could be what the problem is. No, but apparently he's hardwired in, and the internet people checked the line and cleaned it. I don't know how you clean an internet line, but I'm lost, because usually the problem is you haven't cleared your cache, you haven't rebuilt the database, done all those kind of things, you've got poor internet connection. I mean, the only bad thing I can see is the upload speed is quite low. When you've got 99 upload, you expect your download, you expect your upload speed somewhere around 40 or 50. His is below 10. So I don't know if that's a factor, I really don't. Maybe that's something I can look into in the week. Anyway, TJ up into 4th place. Pleasurecraft makes the move on Midas up into 5th. Midas dropping down to 6th place. And this is allowing Thanos and Knudsen to start closing in on those cars outside the top 3. Because at the moment, Kevin and Demos just absolutely running away with it. The next battle on the racetrack at the moment is really for who's going to slot in to the top 3. We're 11 minutes in, but it's a long race. Plenty of stuff can still happen. It's one of those things where you just have to kind of hang on and see how things are going. So let's have a look at the back and what's going on at the rear of the pack. And Bandit having an absolute torrid time at the moment at the back of the pack. Fastest lap for him is a 3:17.6. Just doesn't seem to be getting that car really dialed in, really tuned in to his needs. 35 seconds back from old man Jay. He's done 3:05.5. Bandit's definitely going to have to improve on those times because he's already dropping about 10 seconds a lap to him based on those lap times. We're on lap 4 here at St. Croix. Lap 4, 11 minutes in. It's a bloody long lap, people. It's a 3-minute lap, so be prepared. They of course started on half a tank of fuel, so his pit window is probably going to be, I imagine, somewhere around lap 15-ish. I think lap 15 is where people just start thinking about going into the pits. 8 seconds up the road is Drabons Malone. And for some reason I always say his name like that, and I'm sure one day he's going to get really offended. But he hasn't been so far, so I'm not going to complain. He's running in 12th place, in a nice little bit of clear racetrack for himself. Nothing similar time to old man Jay behind him, 3:05.8 for him. Clear to go, there's Rob. He's doing, and I tell you what, for a guy that last week at Spa was so far back that he practically was still racing there when we got here this week, he put in some really solid times. Oh man, Jay pitting really early on those medium compound tyres, clearly not happy with them and wants to get rid of them and put on some soft compounds. But clear to go, 3:04.1, a 3:02.1 his last lap, but that doesn't count because he picked up some sort of penalty along the way. 3.8 seconds up the road is Arminis, and he is currently doing sub 3 minutes. So everyone inside the top 10, it looks like he's doing sub 3 minute laps. It's 3:54.8 for him. That's a really good lap time actually. Bearing in mind that Kevin out front is doing 2:51.5. 2:54 for Arminis in 10th is not too shabby. Stormfly at 2:52.9. So the pace is in the car. He's just got to now use that pace to drive that car forward in more ways than one. It's not just physically driving, but get that car to push up the order. 3.4 seconds, that's his next target. His next target is Thanos with a 2:55.8 being his fastest lap. So on that current pace, he should catch him somewhere on this lap 5. He is at the moment though battling with Knudsen. There is Knudsen, a new driver to Black Flag, literally joined us about an hour before this race started. Welcome to Black Flag, buddy. Nice quick jump in and yeah, baptism of fire. Running in 7th place at the minute. He is 8 tenths up from Thanos, 9 tenths back from the Lithuanian pleasure craft, and he's himself from Norway, Denmark. It's one of those two. It's Nordic, and he probably has a really long beard and likes to pillage. Maybe from that neck of the woods. Maybe that's not. I can't confirm or deny the truth in that. He is closing in on the back of pleasure craft though. This is where he makes his overtakes. You just see the light fading here at St. Croix. And this is where we'll start to see the brake discs light up under braking. The sparks just flying out of the back of the cars. And look at that smoke just pumping out of the car. That's a great run Newton's got out of that turn 1. That puts him up into 6th place. What an overtake that was. But Pleasurecraft is coming back at him. But under braking, Newton with that inside line should just pull away. Little switcheroo there from Pleasurecraft, but he can't make it stick. And he is starting to drop now into the loving arms of Thanos behind. Up in 5th place, that's Midas, another Greek driver. He's 1.7 seconds behind the teammate of Pleasurecraft, Wendigo. Another Lithuanian driver, of course, who you can catch here live on Black Flag Racing TV in the Lithuanian National GR1 Championships tomorrow from 7:50. Pleasurecraft, Wendigo and Arminis will all be competing in that. And Simonis is going for, I think, record-breaking 10th win on the spin in that tomorrow, which is phenomenal. Second up the road, there's Wendigo, just talking about him. We'll see in that Lithuanian Championship tomorrow. 2.7 seconds behind TJ. TJ is absolutely giving it full beats here at St. Croix, or St. Croix, whatever you want to call it. And this racetrack it kind of tears people in two. It's very much Marmite as Wendigo is taken by Midas there, roughly, very roughly. And this is the kind of face he's pulling right now.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Or something along those lines. Wendigo retakes that place. He's having none of that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And back up into fourth place. Yeah, so 3.6 seconds on the road, this TJ. He's 14 seconds behind those front two who are just absolutely running away with this race. Yeah, it's quite something, to be fair, to see that it doesn't matter where we race, what format, you know, whether you know what the weather's going to be like, don't know what the weather's going to be like. This guy here, Kevin, is just absolutely phenomenal in every single race. He's always out in front, he's always leading the charge. And look, it's incredibly frustrating. If you enter a competition and you've got this guy, you've got to race with him week in, week out. It's almost as though he's unbeatable, as Wendigo diving into the pits to get rid of those medium compound tyres. Yeah, I mean, I don't race enough for it to destroy my soul, let's be fair. I'm never in a position to win a race. But it must be so destroying, week in, week out, to be racing a guy with this much talent that he just seems to dominate every single race. I would love to see a race with Kevin in, with like 14 other Kevins in the lobby. That would be something to see that kind of, how that would pan out in terms of entertainment. Yeah, I would really look forward to seeing something like that. Teammate Demos, though, he's not too far behind in terms of lap times. A couple of seconds out as Kevin's kind of pulling away, but Demos is doing solid 253s, mid 253s to keep him in second place. Looking at TJ there, last lap was a 252.3. Is he pushing too hard? Does that put him in a difficult position, pit stop wise later on in the race? Or does he just have phenomenal pace? I think what we'll do, when he crosses the line, I think we'll do an on board with TJ and just see how he gets his car thrown around this racetrack, quite so elegantly. Bear in mind that we saw him facing in the wrong direction earlier in this race, and he's just managed to work his way back up to the front of the pack and keep this impetus, this forward momentum, just going and going and going. Put it out a distance from Midas, who's got himself ahead of Newton, and we saw Wendigo's gone into the pits, of course, so which is why he's not in that top 5 anymore. So, coming up towards the end of the lap, we'll just check out front, mate, nothing's really changed out there. Kevin is 8.5 seconds clear, he's on the medium compound tyres. I think lap 15 is pit window, but quite a few drivers have opted to pit early to get rid of the medium compound tyre. Now that's obviously a nod to the fact that the medium compound tyre just doesn't give them necessarily the grip that they're that comfortable with. So this is the kind of tail end of the lap. We'll do it from the front of the car like that. There we go. And you see just you sweep around that right-hander. You've got a big left-hander here, which you don't even have to drop down the speed too much before you head to the start-finish line. And he's actually coming into the pits like a big fat cock when he knows I was going on board with him. But getting around those times. So let's do it. Let's go on board with Demos then. Demos gets the love for that. So turn 1, right-hander. This is the first big braking zone off the lap. 100 metre board, you're getting changed down. You want to get that nice early apex before you get on the power again, let it drift not too far, because there's a nice big chunky wall waiting to soak you up. And Bandit already being lapped, we're on lap 8 already. So only 20 minutes in. Bandit having a torrid time out there. Blue flags for him. So Demos will move through. I know what's going wrong for Bandit, but I'm sure you'll see that anytime soon. 19 seconds to get back to Midas at the moment. And you can see how it kind of there's nice long straights in between each of the turns here. TJ avoiding commentators, yeah, probably. He's got into the pits to get the fun away from me talking about it. But there we go, here's what it is. Tricky part of the racetrack is because you get this wrong, when you turn onto this bridge section, you can find yourself quite easily clipping that wall, facing the wrong way, and the cars behind you all streaming through while you struggle to get back onto the track. You head up here, you've got a big left-hander at the end here with the bullet signs on the right-hand side there. And again, you have to be careful with the exit because the walls are just so tight as you come out. Sweeping around, it's just scraping the wall there as you sweep round to this right-hand side, and then you are on the power long blast into the penultimate sector. And this is flat out for some time, right up into 7th gear, accelerating all the way through the range available. And of course, the better exit you get out of that right-hander, the more speed you can carry up to this right-hander here, where you jump on those brakes down into 2nd gear to get that rotation before you're back on the power again, sweeping round to the left past this little village. And apparently the TJ is the only gay in that village. Apparently it's true. And so Demos is coming through then. And this last section, quite twisty and quite country roady. Again, sweeping around to this right-hand side of the bit of it's a kind of double turn almost, is that you kind of sweeping right and then you kind of sweeping right again without any real differential between the two corners. And then of course into the start straight yet again for a continuation of the race and another lap. So lap 9, 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes into this race. Kevin leads by 8 seconds from Demos Eleftheriou. I should be better at saying the name, but one of my family members is married to. I think it's simple actually. It's got their names are very similar. So yeah, it should be better than saying. 20 seconds up the road is the battle for 3rd. That is Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. Well, not at the moment because he's only in 3rd. That is clearly everything he's touching turns to bronze. And he's got Knudsen, who's new to this competition, started down in, I think, 11th place and already made his way up to 4th and trying to find a way around the shaky car of Midas. There he is at 3 seconds back. 3 seconds back further is Thanos, the Greek god of 5th. That's true, that's what Thanos means, I am 5th. 2.9 seconds is the gap to that battle for 3rd place between Midas and Knudsen. And 4.9 seconds behind is Stormfly, who is finally getting that car towards the front where you'd expect to see him racing. In that kind of, you would expect to see him in and around the top 3 in most competitions. Stormfly, of course, is our reigning, newly crowned GR1 champion, crowned on Monday, of course, after going into that final race with 6 points behind. And we having, ironically, at this racetrack, and we smashed into Gary, who's watching live now. Hello, Gary. And he ended up facing the wrong way after hitting the one part of a wall that could spin him around with a little 2-foot gap in it, and couldn't catch up to Stormfly to get enough points to Stormfly outright the GR4 championship, but currently running in 6th place here in the Staying Power Endurance Series. Pleasure Crafts 4.5 seconds behind Stormfly, and more, I think, dropping into the clutch to TJ, who has pit early, one of the early pit stoppers, has opted to put on soft compound tyres. I did that without even looking to see how I knew he was on soft. It's almost like I'm a genius. Now, I know he's on soft compound tyres because why would you go into the pits on mediums when you don't need to and put more mediums on? That's the sort of thing that stupid people do. And refueling, of course, which means he can run a bit longer distance into this race. And those that are hanging out till the end of the stint should be coming in around that 50-ish I think that's when the fuel will be gone. There's Windiga, he's also picked for the Racing Soft Tyres, running currently in ninth in the Mazda L55. European Mazda, as they can call it. 6.4 seconds behind TJ. Ominous GT is 4.8 seconds back in 10th place. He's also been into the pits and points racing the soft tyres. Drabons Malone, 1 minute back in 11th place. The American driver got a good contingent across the world today. American driver Drabons Malone jumps in right last minute to come into the rally, but made it in time. He's a minute back from Ominous, still on those medium compound tyres. Then 23 seconds is the gap back to old man Jay, who spun on that one. He's not managed yet to do a lap under 3 minutes, but he is he's not far off it. But he's now on those soft compound tyres, so hopefully he can just start creeping under that 3 minute mark. 22 seconds to Rob. Rob, this is for you, my friend. He will understand the reference, of course. Well, no one else will necessarily. And Bandit running in 14th place. Somebody was, I don't even know why I did that for you. That wasn't really what I wanted to do. Please, guys, anyway, but he's running in 14th place. Just couldn't. For whatever reason, he hasn't been able to get this car dialed in any meaningful way in terms of lap times. Bearing in mind, though, he's a good endurance series driver. And talking of endurance series, we this afternoon, I said we, I this afternoon have submitted 2 black flag teams to the 12 hours at Bathurst Endurance Series starting on the 5th of May. 2 teams of 4, 12 hours of racing. So you do the math, that's 3 hours each. Over the course of the Sunday the 6th of May. Qualifying, of course, is on the 5th. There will be 4 times, we've still got 1 spot to fill. We've got 7 drivers confirmed for that already. Just one more black flag driver to get on the roster for that. More details will, of course, be available as we get closer to the time. But a lot of outside competitions for black flag at the moment. It's guys out front showing while we talk about what else is occurring. It's getting very, very dark. I'm scared. No, please don't touch me. Right, so yes, so we've got we can't talk about outside competition without talking about GT Fusion World Team Championships, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks' time. Should have the car and track and setting combos announced relatively shortly, I think next week. I could be wrong, don't hold me to that, I think it's sometime next week we should get the track and car combos for that. That's obviously coming up. We've got teams entering into that, and Alex and team event, of course. We have got the GT Champions World Cup for 2023 is commencing. We've got a number of drivers racing across that. That will be across a number of different groups. Drivers such as Slipstream, who's in the Porsche Cup, of course, and now joins us as a black flag driver. We've got drivers such as Kaizen, and also a World Cup, Porsche Cup driver, and hopefully now he's joined us. Knudsen will drive for black flag as well in the World Championships, possibly. Conversation will have to be had for that. We've also got the usual suspects. We've got James in there, and Bandit's in there, and Chris Troopers is in there, and Armis is in there. So yeah, looking forward to that one. We have got the Wheelspin Racing Porsche Cup, which that starts next week. We've got 6 drivers, 7 drivers competing in that, and Black Flag Racing TV will also be, of course, on hand to broadcast the Academy races for that particular Porsche Cup. We've got what else have we got coming up? There's something else going on Something else going on somewhere, and I can't remember what it is. But yeah, we've got loads of stuff going on. In terms of broadcasts, of course, it's usual F1 stuff you can expect from Black Flag Racing TV over the next coming weeks. Exciting news coming up about a potential F1 22 Formula 2 tournament, which is being planned at the moment. No real details just yet, but of course there will be information available as soon as it is nailed down and we know what we're doing with that. But I'm actually really looking forward to that because I think that's going to be a really good, for anyone that hasn't really made the foray into Formula 1 2022, which is a great game. But anyone who hasn't made that jump yet, an F2 tournament is a really kind of good way to dip your toe into the game and sort of get a feel for driving the cars, if you wish to make the transition at some stage into Formula 1 racing, alongside, of course, GT7 and the other bits and pieces. But anyway, lap 12 here. We are just past the half-hour mark, 1/4 of the way into this race, and we've made it, folks. We've made it 25% in, and nobody has thrown the toys at the pram or had a little rage quit. So yeah, that's always something to be happy about, surely. So Kevin leads away, 14 seconds now is his lead over. And I said he was going to go to lap 15, but I actually think he might be going a lot further than that. Looking at his fuel, we'll have a quick look actually at his fuel consumption because it's been phenomenal. He's still, quarter tank, still plenty of maybe not. But 15 seconds clear he is anyway. There is his compatriot and his teammate and his friend Demos running in second. The gap 15.5 seconds. And the gap back to Midas, a little bit smaller than it was, just 16.7 seconds. So although there is a gap between these front three, it's not necessarily quite as big as it was. But Midas just settling into this race. He's got Newton still settling behind him. Now in terms of fuel, Newton's not doing quite as well on the fuel as the Greek driver ahead of him. Both of course in the 919 Porsche. It's a great car. You can't go wrong with the 919. But again, that lag, and I talked about this briefly on Thursday, with this lag being a little bit of a problem. When you're racing behind someone that lags like this, to make an overtake is a very, very complicated thing, because it's not quite as simple as maybe if the gap that we go into it, because you're not entirely sure the gap is there, because if the car will lag from side to side or moves around, you don't know what information you're seeing, if that information is the correct information. Now I don't know, look, I'll put that it could be something to do with the infrastructure. I don't know. I don't know the answers. But it clearly seems to be an ongoing problem that needs addressing, I think. And I'm not sure it's an individual issue. I think it's a countrywide issue. Clearly there's some sort of problem with data packets from the internet there. But anyway, moving on. That's the view from Newton's cards as he get a run on Midas this time, down to turn 1 as the light begins to fade here in France, just moving into the night cycle of this. Essentially this race emulates a 24-hour day and night cycle. So they race through the night and then a nice light. So well, hopefully, weather is random, so you can by the blue sky. So, Newton's not able to make a move, but at the moment he seems quite happy and comfortable to be tucked in there behind Midas. Stormfly in 5th place. He himself is quite comfortable tucked in there. He's on the soft compound tyres. He's going to have to change his fuel situation at the end of this lap. When I say change his fuel situation, what I mean by that is go and put some fuel in. Not really changing. I suppose technically he's changing the situation. He's going from giving an empty tank to having a full one. But it's not really changing the situation. It's just doing something. That's what he will be doing at the end of this lap. So just outside that 50 lap limit but he has had to push, of course, to make his way up through the order. Then, those are the three cars battling it out for third. Stormfly, Midas and Knudsen. Then back in sixth place we've got Thanos, and he's got Pleasure Craft crawling all over the back of him in that LM55 Mazda and looking for a way through, jinking left, jinking right, trying to find some sort of gap, somewhere to squeeze that Pleasure Craft. He's going to squeeze his Pleasure Craft behind Thanos. I'm sure he's 1.2 seconds is the gap. He didn't find any way through, but he's also got, if we look out of his back window, that's what leaves you behind, and that is Wendigo, who is under some pressure from a rushing TJ, and that was the practicing this now. Punchcroft is going to pit this lap. And what about Thanos? Thanos might be able to stay out on the lap. So he might stay out. Stormfly is going to pit. Thanos is going to possibly stay out. Pleasurecraft is definitely going to have to pit. Wendigo doesn't, he pit early, so he's going to gain a couple of places here, up to probably around 6th. And there's Wendigo, he might even take 7th place long before the pit window happens. He makes that move up the inside of Pleasurecraft, and yeah, off he goes up the road, and unfortunately Pleasurecraft.
Stop, please. My childhood, your empty words.
And they're going to burn loads of fuel all over those empty words. So TJ in 9th place, he is 8/10 back from that current battle, but having also pit early, very early actually, he's going to be moving up the order somewhat as well. Then look at that, that's TJ making a move on Pleasurecraft, and through he goes, but he picks up a penalty, just using a bit too much of the part of the racetrack that isn't actually racetrack. So half second penalty for him, so he'll probably lose that position. Unless of course Pleasurecraft is staying out for another lap. I think this is a mistake for Pleasurecraft. Surely he hasn't got the fuel to make it another lap. Has he forgotten to pit? This could be a very, very long lap for Pleasurecraft. Very long lap. Oh dear. This is easily done. I've done it. I did it at Bathurst. And that wasn't that guy, it was someone else. It wasn't Dutch guy, he was chasing me down. And yeah, I did it at Bathurst, and I did an entire lap under really poor fuel. So, either Pleasurecraft is incredibly genius and knows he can make it to the end, or it is proper squeaky bum time and he's going to be giving it some of this. For a large portion of this lap. Such a child. Right, so if he well, he's going to have to pay whatever, but if he has a massive slowdown on this lap because of a fuel issue, then this guy here, Arminis, is a fellow Lithuanian, and he might be 9.8 seconds behind him now, but I guarantee you that gap is going to start to come down just because Pleasurecraft is going to have to back off massively, and Arminis just loses the back end, but rescues it, and he doesn't earn himself one of them. Just rescues it at the last minute. Drabones Malone, Harry partner, 1 minute 38 seconds back from that. That was two very distinct different ways to go, but lap 14 for him. He is the kind of king of the back markers right now, and they will worship him slowly. That's what back markers do. They worship their gods slowly. But he's currently running in 11th place, 1.38 minutes back from Arminis and GT. Outside that top 10, he's got blue flags flying, as that will be Kevin coming up behind him in a meaningful way. 48 seconds, 49 seconds almost, is the gap back to Rob. And I tell you what, he's been running really, really well. In 12th place, 49 seconds back from Tri-Mountain, keeping himself ahead of old man Jay, running in 13th. But that gap is now down to 2.1 seconds. However, it looks as though Romain was ahead of him before, because lap 13 for him was on 3 minutes 34, so he's clearly been pointing in the wrong direction at some stage on that last lap. So is he going to be able to get himself the right way around? So Pleasure Craft into the pits, he did make it without dying. Arminis obviously goes through. Pleasure Craft now refilling his car. So Romain in 13th place, and he is at 1 minute 34 seconds ahead of Bandit like Beckham, and he'll be pitting at the end of this lap also. So there is your race leader. I said pit window at lap 15, but this guy's just really looking after the fuel while putting in. Let's be clear about this. He's looking after the fuel, he's looking after the tyres, but he's still putting in qualifying pace laps. 2:51.2 is fastest lap. He's done lap 9. He's been doing steady to 51.4, 51.5s last couple of laps, just ramping up the pace before he goes into the pits. He's 21 seconds clear of Demos, who is his fastest lap is a 52.4. He will be pitting around the same sort of time. So I imagine something like lap 16, lap 17 in this race. Are they looking at maybe the 45-minute mark? Certainly aren't going to drag this half tank out to a full hour by any stretch of the imagination. Gap behind to Midas was about 16 seconds. It's down to 14.8. Midas still holding off Knudsen for his dear life. Fuel-wise, Knudsen's going to have to pit at the end of this lap. Now we saw that you can, when it looks like you've got fuck all fuel left, you can still get around this lap. To be fair, if you're driving a hybrid, it probably helps. But so possibly we'll see Midas stay out for one more lap. The top three currently all Greek drivers. Yet again, it's the Greek party. Who knows? But they do put an incredible amount of practice in. Pretty much every time I come online, there's a comment with either I tell you what, the Greek guys and Luton does come into the pits from fourth place. The Lithuanian guys and the Greek guys practice a lot, and it benefits them because they're faster and quicker than you expect. Thanos, sorry my friend,
You can't park that there, mate.
Back on the track of course, but losing out a little bit of time. Anyone else in the pits? No, they are not. Yes, and the Greeks and the Lithuanians always, whenever I come on, there is a couple of Greek guys, a couple of Lithuanian guys in a lobby somewhere practicing for the next race on the agenda for them constantly. And I don't think there's ever been a time I've come on and they've not been doing it. Apart from obviously in the middle of the night, if I which I'm not. And do you know what? It's been over a week since I've driven a lap anywhere with my steering wheel. Believe it or not, I'm going to have to at some point tomorrow just do a few laps somewhere just to blow off the bubbles. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll see. Anyway, TJ up to 5th place. He pit early in that pit cycle. He is just lapping Rob, who is off the track. Does he stay off the track? He does rescue it. Luckily for him, he rescues it. Thanos is in 6th place, 2.6 seconds from the back of TJ. And Stormfly, he is back out. He's been in the pits, back out in 7th place. 4.2 seconds is the gap to Thanos as he just comes up behind Old Man J. Very, very wide. There was the Stormfly, of course. Just trying to avoid that gravel, my friend. Then the gap back to Arminis is 2.3 seconds. Again, it's very difficult to kind of to fathom, other than Kevin and Demos, Midas, those kind of front runners. It's very difficult with the kind of midfield to judge where people are. And there's a yellow flag. Someone is facing the wrong way, and that is Thanos. Wow, indeed. Big crashy crash there. Wasn't looking too good at all, was it? But he is back and running now. But he's lost a couple of places. Knudsen, who is up to 8th place after his pit stop, and he has gone full tank. this guy's looking at running. Now, 45 minutes almost to the first pit stop on the medium tyres, right? So does that mean that you can go to the end of the race on a full tank? I reckon you can. Half a tank takes you to 45 minutes. You could. I don't know. The question is whether the soft compound tyres will take you to the end of the race. That's the question for me. It certainly looks like they may well do that. Certainly it would make for an interesting race if they do. Because there are cars in front of them going to have to pit again. And that's really going to benefit him. He is currently, he's about to lap on Jay. And there he goes through to do that. 2.6 seconds is the gap to Arminis in front. 7.4 back to Thanos, who we saw facing sideways on the racetrack, and just not the way to face here. Pleasure Craft, it's a driver for the Lithuanian racing team. It's also what I call my penis. 40.3, and Thanos into the pits. 40.5 seconds back. There he is from Thanos, but that gap will open, will close right down as Thanos is in the pits, refreshing his tyres. 1 minute 12 seconds outside that top 10 is Bones Malone, and he's still dominating the battle of the backmarkers. The battle of the backmarkers. Basilis, good work, my friend. What is the channel? Good work, bravo. Kevin, bravo. Dino, bravo. GR. Thanks, Basilis. No, thanks for subscribing and for getting involved and watching. I'm assuming you're here to support. Oh, it's Canados. I just saw that. Sorry, mate, Canados. What is going on with your connection, my friend? We need to find out why you can't connect to certain hosts. There must be something behind it. Who knows what it is? Maybe speak to your internet service provider. Maybe they have an answer to the question of why you can connect to some and not to others. Maybe it's something that hosts need to do. Maybe it is that some hosts have got something switched on that would be worthwhile turning off, or vice versa. Something switched off that might be worthwhile turning on. But I will certainly do some research as well. Hey then, Canados, good of you to join us. Shame you couldn't race. But there is Mr. Malone, Drabones Malone. He's got a more piratey name than me, and my name is literally Urban Pirate. But it's cool, of course. He is from the United States. He's 56 seconds clear of Rob Donkey Rob. That's especially for you. He's running all right though, but old man Jay has now closed that gap to just 1.1 second. Fastest lap for Rob has been a 3:01.4. He's been pretty steady other than a bit of 3:09 in there. Old man Jay, other than that 3:34, he's gone as low as 3 minutes just. Can he break that barrier? Just looking actually at Drybones below what he's done in that 11th place. He has, it's not too different from the pace of old man Jay. I think the fundamental difference between the two is consistency in lap times. I think Jay has been faster, has gone faster than Drybones below, but there's no real consistency in that, in the lap times. It's a lap after lap they are fundamentally vastly different. But he is closing down on Rob. Who was that facing in the wrong direction? That was Rob in the wrong direction. Sorry mate, but what was I looking?
I crashed.
You crashed! How you coming fast?
I don't know how you're coming fast, but you did crash indeed, and you are 13th place now. 3 minutes back is Bandit. Bandit has decided that he doesn't want to drive this. He loves the scenery so much, he's going for a scenic drive around Croix, and boom, shaker.
I crashed.
You crashed! How you coming fast?
Especially for you, Bandit, especially for you, and he's about to actually be lapped, ironically, by the car ahead of him on the racetrack.
How dare you?
Yeah, very disappointing. Very disappointing. And here he comes, of course. Right, so there's your race leader. Still not been in the pits. We're on lap 18 he's not going to make it to the hour mark. Surely he can't make it to the 1 hour mark with that fuel. And but he's got 22 seconds clear. He started, I think, 10th, 11th, bridge, somewhere like that. With all the carnage and the cars sort of tripping over each other and spinning off and facing in the wrong direction, all that kind of thing early on. He benefited quite well and moved up to the to second place behind his teammate Demos, and then just kicked in those afterburners and moved up to first. It's taken that lead. Demos 22 seconds back. The gap now, actually, he's at one stage his gap was somewhere around 20 seconds. Midas now, Wendigo, those guys behind, just starting to close up now on Demos. Now, when he goes in the pits, which he will, I imagine, probably at the end of this lap. So, yeah, I think at the end of this lap, he's got one more lap to go. Midas goes into the pits now. Does the undercut help him? Does the undercut give him the impetus to catch Demos? Be interesting to see. Wendigo, he's got another lap in him. He will probably get himself into the top 3 here, but he's going to have to pit. Now, my recommendation would be is that he pits when those 2 cars ahead of him do, because then he's in their pit cycle essentially, and then he can kind of see where he fits in terms of those guys. Look, let's be fair. He's not. I mean, pace-wise, Kevin's gone sub 251 now, 250.6. But in terms of Wendigo's pace, a 251.3 puts him there or thereabouts. I mean, he's just done a 250.9. So he's clearly got a very similar pace in him to those guys out in front, Kevin and Demos. So I think it's key here to get into the pits on the same lap that they're in, and then you can really see where your pace lies in comparison to those guys. You are, and listen, let's not beat around the bush here. He might be 20 odd seconds behind them, but he is absolutely racing those guys out in front right now. Whether he's got enough pace in extra, sort of in surplus to make that gap smaller, I don't know. But he's certainly got the pace to keep everyone else out of that top 3 right now. Interesting to see how this pans out, because most people are going to have to pit again at some stage. Most people, not all, most. There's TJ. He pit very, very early to put on those soft compound tyres. And looking at the state of those tyres, for me, I don't think that anybody that's fueled with a view to going to the end of this race on soft compound tyres is going to be able to do that. Certainly not if your intention to do it with any sort of pace left to burn at the end of the race. So Midas back out of the pits. He comes out in 5th. He's 11.4 seconds behind TJ. A minute behind the leaders. So some work to do if he wants to get involved there. Top 3 still not out of his grasp, of course. Yeah, that's where he's racing for. Enough to the end of the race. Well, fuel-wise, I think he's done enough. Whether tyres are enough, that's where the question mark is whether those soft tyres have enough in them to take you to the end, comfortably to the end of this race. Stormfly running in 6th position, 2.2 seconds is the gap to Midas ahead. He may well have to go into the pits again. Not entirely sure. And he is capable of saving a few savings and tyres, but again, it's whether those tyres last. And he's been on them for a few laps already. We're not talking here, he's been on them for 3-4 laps already. So he's already putting some load through them. But yeah, they're already up to heat, they're already up to spec. He can start closing on Midas on his new fresh tyres. But how much is he going to be taking out of them to do that? There is Newton in 7th position. Jumps into the lobby, he's already getting involved with the racing around in that midfield. He is 1 second behind Stormfly, and he looks to me like he has gone for, because he pit quite a few laps ago. We're talking, actually for lap 58, he pat on that 15. Inability to speak. He's closing on Stormfly actually. Potentially looking to go to the end of the race, but again, it's whether those soft compound tyres can last out the distance. And in all honesty, I haven't run 2 hours around here, and I just haven't got the fucking time for that shit. Right, Arminus GT. He is the second highest running Lithuanian driver, and I know that's a great flag next to his name. That doesn't mean that he's from Great Britain. He just happens to live here. But he is very much he's as well as you well know, he is a black flag team driver. Drives for us in external competitions. Looking forward to seeing how he performs over the next few competitions we have. And I've just on the list again. We've got loads of stuff going on in terms of that shit at the moment. Then we've got the gap, and it's a 37-second gap. I mean, that's not far off a huge pit stop, and a 1 second penalty for Thanos, who's in no man's land. The gap ahead of him is 37 seconds. The gap behind him is 50 seconds. He could potentially go into the pits, get out, have a cup of tea, go for a wee, wipe the end of his willy, climb back in his car, and there's a yellow flag ahead for who has crashed into the wall. I can't see who, but Kevin finally into the pits. He's only going to one-stop this race, clearly, that's what he's going to do. I can't see who was facing the wrong way. But Old Man see there has got around Rob clear to go. And his next target is a minute on the road in Drummond's Malone. Jay obviously running to the end. Drummond's Malone will pit, so actually this gap's going to come right down. Drummond's Malone has done a brilliant job, to be fair, dragging this out to the midpoint of the race, which is exactly what he's done. I think we're going to see him nip off into the pits here. Blue flag coming out for him. But he's going to be in the pits by the time it comes to execute that blue flag. And there he goes. He peels off to that right-hand side into the pits. He pops. Off you pop, my friend. So Kevin comes out of the pits. I can't go through Demos because sometimes it's got a bit more. So TJ actually into second here. He's going to have to pit again. He went in very, very early. It's still an hour of this race. We're not at the halfway point yet. And he's going to have to fuel and tyre again at some stage in the next, I would imagine, 15 to 20 minutes there or thereabouts. So you would say around 5-ish laps will be when you start thinking about Canada's just senior message. Don't worry about it. You need to find out what the problem is. I think the best people to speak to are your internet provider. They will, if you explain to them what the issue is and that it is intermittent, they may be able to suggest something that's happening at the other end or something that's happening at your end that prevents that from happening. It's not one particular country. It's certainly not one particular because you can't get in with Avalon. He's on PlayStation 4 in Spain. You can't get on with TJ, and he's on a PlayStation 5 in the Netherlands. Both different internet connections, different internet providers. To be fair, I've had people that have had the same issue with getting onto mine as well, and I've got an incredibly good, incredibly stable internet connection here in the UK. There's not many things we do right in the UK, but internet is one. Anyway, TJ in second place. He's not going to maintain that because he's got to pit again. But Demos is there in third position. 6.6 seconds is the current gap to TJ, and it's 6.2 seconds back to Minus, who's slotted back into fourth place. Now there is a battle here, and this is a battle on the road for third, because TJ still has to pit, of course. Midas currently winning that battle. He's 1.4 seconds clear of Stormfly. He's 1 second clear of Knudsen. They are all in a position to run this race to the end. Although there's a little question mark, only a little one, and it's making me pull this face.
My dog stepped on a bee. My dog stepped on a
will
bee.
make it to the end. Only a little one though, a little niggly. And it's looking at TJ's tyres at this stage that's making me wonder. I can show you what I can see. That's what I can see on TJ. Again, why he went in. early on, somewhere around lap 6 or 7. Until we look at Stormfly there, the contrast was shattered. There's Stormfly's tyres there. Fuel's not a problem, it'll make it to the straight well. I would say just. Everybody, the ones that ran the longest with one stop, did so with half a tank just. But they weren't held for leather for that whole session. It's not to be fair, if he's tucked in there behind minus for another 10 or 11 laps, it's very possible, especially if it has got a different technology behind, it's very possible he can take some fuel in there, look after his tyres a little bit, not put too much load through them. And I suspect Newton is probably thinking the same thing. Although Newton has got fuel to burn, he could throw that shit out the window and still have enough to finish this race. In fact, what might help him, if he gets close enough to Stormfly, he throws something into Stormfly's eyes that he can't see, because he's not going to run out. He well overfueled in that last pit stop. But it is what it is. Then back 14 seconds to RS GTLD. And he's got a nice little gap now. He's not under any pressure from his compatriots. Wendigo, who's currently in 8th position, but that will change very soon because Arminis is going to dive into the pits at the end of this lap and get some more juicy fuel to take him to the very end of this race. That will promote Wendigo. He will be up into 7th place. The question is, I think the question also is, where is TJ going to slot back in when he does finally do his final pit stop? 22 seconds is the gap back to Thanos, and he's got the glove and he's got lots of gems in it, and he's going to click his fingers, and the Nate cars in front of him disappear into the distance. Looks like the Avengers stopped you, man. Looks like the Avengers have stopped you. When it's 2 hours of racing and I don't have a co-commentator, I just need to stop. That's what I'm like. Because essentially this is what I am. I am a bald, fat man, sitting in my front room, looking at 2 screens of pixelated cars racing each other, and talking to my screen about it. Because, I know that I'm a kind of kid where it says I'm watching. And I know that people will watch it later, but it's still freaking weird. A little bit. It is a little bit weird. So, if I lose my mind a little bit while I'm doing it, then all I can say to that is,
how dare you?
Yeah, let me get on with it. Right, a minute back is Pleasure Craft. I've already made the joke about it being named my cock. I'm like, yes, I have. Can't park that there, mate. Cannot park that there.
You can't park that there, mate.
Back on the track though, of course, nice and quickly. And then we've got another big gap. So if you take a look, so this is Thanos on the racetrack. He's just coming up to the last. He's in the final sector of the race. I was into the pits, of course. Pleasure Craft is half a lap ahead, almost, in sector 2-3, and then so half a lap behind in sector 3 on the same lap. Grabon's Long is almost an entire lap, behind Thanos, who's just 2 places ahead of him on the racetrack. Such a disparity. But, you know, it is what it is. It is racing, isn't it? But at the moment, Grabon's Malone is winning the battle. Grabon's Malone is winning the battle of the backmarkers. He's 33 seconds clear of Old Man Jay. He is 14 seconds clear of Clear. See, I haven't got round, and once he got round him, he's got a level really look back. Jay has managed to go sub 2, he's still at 2:59.3. Awesome news for you. You get one of them. So yeah, well done. Awesome performance. As for you, Rob.
You have stolen my dreams, my childhood, your empty words. You have stolen.
Yeah. Your best so far has been a 3:02.8. I mean, he's doing all right there in 13th. You know, you've got to bear in mind he's very, very new to sim racing. And the irony is he's probably already quicker than me. And that's parked in the wrong direction. You can't do that, man.
I crashed.
You crashed. How you coming fast?
You can't park that there, mate.
He is back up running again. Bandit is, so Bandit is on lap 20. So Rob Clear to Go is in sector 2, just side sector 2. Bandit is in the, coming up to the final sector, but 2 laps back. It's really not worked out so well for him. His fastest lap is a 3:07, almost dead, 3:07.0. Rob's best lap has been in the 3:05s, 3:02 somewhere. Oliver Jake 2:59.3. Drummond's Malone has done a 2:59.9. Bad lap 19 3:35. But I think that's when he went into the pits. He's had a little donk, got himself some damage, which is enough to get one of them. I don't know how people crash was getting words. There's Pleasurecraft. It's a massive gap there. Yes, it looks like he's racing somebody because there is a car up ahead of him, but that car is not racing him. That car is Kevin, and he is at the moment racing Demos and Midas and those guys out in front. We'll get and see what they are playing at. There's Arminus GT, that's where he comes back out. He's going to run to the end of this race. He is very much clear of Pleasurecraft, but 3.2 seconds behind Thanos. So that's some work he's got to do on those soft compound tyres to close up that gap. Talking of gaps, that's a big gap. It's very big, it's large, it's chasm-like. 20.7 seconds from Thanos to Wendigo. Arminus is going to be desperately trying to close down on the back of Thanos. Now, one of the two things they can do here. Are these guys prepared to work together? Because I tell you, something we don't see very often, and we see it. I'll tell you where you do see it. You see it in the elite kind of level racing. You see the guys that aren't winning the races, despite the fact they're racing each other, working together with a bit of bump draft and a little bit of bumping grind to get each other closer. Using slipstream and bump draft and that kind of thing. And the age usually, mostly at places like Daytona, of course. But to get themselves closer to the guys out ahead. Potentially this is what these guys should be doing, is working together. Armin is working together with Thanos, using a combination of bump and grind and a little bit of touchy and some slipstream to get themselves closer to Wendigo in 7th. And then potentially they both got a chance of gaining a place. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk that's what we're doing racing? There is Wendigo, very comfortable. Same gap out in front and behind. 18 seconds for one of a couple of tenths from Thanos, and nearly 19 seconds back from the Fly of the Storm, VR46 himself. And he's running well. I think he would probably have been higher up the order, and he's capable of doing the twin matches. I've seen 51-1, but I think the problem being is that he didn't have a great start. He was one of those drivers that was stricken at some point in lap 1. Now, it could be. The thing is, I don't know how many of those drivers that were stricken in lap 1 were clobbered. Clearly, anyone that was needs to submit a vidi. So save the replay at the end of this race. I will also do so. Then what they need to do is either upload a video to Simply Pro and say this is what happened, this is who was involved, can you please look at it, and I can send it to the Wizarding World, the Stewarding World, as they're more commonly known, and they will judge, and then they make a decision as to whether the position you have stands or what needs to be done. But if you don't submit a ticket, we can't look at it. Although I will say that if I do spot something during the broadcast I think is penalty worthy, even if it's not reported, I will administer that penalty, or the steward will administer that. It won't necessarily be me that does it, the stewards will look and administer such penalties. Right, the gap to Knudsen, 13.2 2 seconds. That's his target. That's where Stormfly needs to get to. Still a bit of a question mark on those tyres and how far, how close to the end of the race they can take him. There is Knudsen. He's really closed up on Midas now, still sticking with him in their battle for, which is essentially the battle for third, because we know TJ's got to pit again. He's got plenty of fuel on board. He can really push hard. He doesn't have to worry too much about how much fuel he's got. So he's passed Stormfly, which knowing that much is clear. His next target is Midas. That target is only 1.5 seconds up the road for a potential shot at the top 3. Pace-wise, I mean, Midas is the better position tyre-wise, but he pit later than Knudsen did. Knudsen himself, he's got more fuel on board. I think it's going to be, I mean, in terms of pace, they're pretty darn close, particularly in the last few laps. It's been pretty darn close. Though Midas, incredibly consistent over the last 5 or 6 laps. This is the guy who I think will eventually be second on the racetrack. He's 8.2 seconds clear of his compatriot Midas. It looks very much like at the moment. This could be a Greek 1, 2, 3. Basically just like it is on Thursdays and Wednesdays, which is a bit of a shame. We need, I don't want to be accused of not being diverse enough, but drivers come from where they come from, and that is just how it is. 2.4 seconds is the gap from Demos to TJ. TJ's going to have to pit. If he doesn't pit on this lap he's on now, I'll be very surprised, and I will
My dog stepped on a bee.
Or I will step on a bee. So we'll see how that works out, I think. So he's going to pit at the end of this lap. Where it puts him is the big question. So he's 36 seconds behind the leader. It's 3 seconds to Demos. Then we've got sort of 10 seconds-ish back to Midas. That gives him 13 seconds. So you're looking at 13. Knudsen will make it 14 seconds. I think we're looking at somewhere around Wendigo. Maybe just in front or just behind Wendigo will be where TJ will pop back into this race. Just like that. See how I didn't even need a sample for that sound effect. I have a pop noises. It's true. It's an actual award. For being the best at doing pop noises, and I am the world champion mouth noise popper. But I would be if your mum let me. Right, so Kevin leads away 37.9 seconds. Fastest lap for him is a 2:50.196. He did that on lap 24. That is currently the fastest lap of the race by some margin, may I add. I don't think anybody's got into the 2.50s yet. TJ's quickest lap with 51.5. That's almost 1.4 seconds slower than the, and he's clearly not human. He is to motor racing what a little green man is to NASA, is that they need to take this guy and put him in a scientific environment and sort of reverse engineer him to find out how everything's put together, and why he's got these kind of lightning quick reflexes. I mean, it could just be that he just practices all the time, and that was what makes him quick. But to be fair, we're talking about somebody that as well as being a professional soldier, of course, he also drives semi-professionally as well, and quickly. He doesn't do it slowly; he does it relatively quickly. So there we go. But it's what it is, and you can tell that what the training he does with his compatriots, the Greek drivers, it's definitely rubbing off. Talking of rubbing off, there's Tia. So where's he going to pop out? I said around Wendigo. So here comes Stormfly, just coming around the final turn now. TJ's in the pits. Does he get out ahead of Stormfly? So that was a good pit stop. That was a really good pit stop. He is actually ahead of Stormfly. I actually didn't think he'd get in. But Stormfly is, massive damage for him. He's had a big off somewhere. So he's decided that's why he didn't get in. That's why Stormfly didn't get out ahead of TJ, because he's had a smash. He had a big smash. So he's changing out his tyres. He doesn't need to repair, obviously that will repair itself automatically. He'll come out of pits. So Stormfly loses another position to Wendigo. So Wendigo up to... Sorry about that, don't know where that came from. Wendigo moves his way into that top 6. So top half of the order. Actually, for both of them, they're both in the top half of the order. But Wendigo in the top 6, 23 seconds behind TJ. Now his pace is steady 2:55. Now he clearly didn't pit 3 times. Well, this is stupid. There's no way that Wendigo pit 3 times. So he's doing 2:54-ish. Is on those soft compound tyres at the moment. Stormfly behind him is doing 2:53s, 2:52s even. And he's on the medium tyres, but that is because he started on the softs, of course. So we were talking about whether he could go to the end, and the answer to that question was always going to be no, because he hadn't run the medium compound tyres. And as a commentator, it's probably my job to pay attention to stuff like that, but I didn't. And do you know why? I don't give a shit. I couldn't give a flying fuck. But right, anyway, 10.8 seconds is the gap to Wendigo. He's going to have to try and close that gap on medium tyres with Thanos on soft tyres, hunting him down like a fat girl coming out of a club chasing after a cheeseburger. Like a lard arse in a kebab shop. Like me, anywhere near bacon. Thanos chasing him down. The gap is 0.6 of a second. Is he going to be able to catch him? How quickly can he catch him? How much damage is he going to do to those racing tyres? Oh, Stormfly! Oh, dearie.
You can't find that air, mate.
Yeah, that didn't go too well for him. So, in the eternal battle of man versus wall wins. Yeah.
Denied.
8 places outside the top half now. So Wendigo comfortably now in 6th with Thanos, the guy behind, chasing him down. He's 12 seconds back. Stormfly lost quite a lot of time. He's 4.6 seconds behind Thanos. Arminis is in 9th place. He's 9 seconds. He's on soft tyres. Pace-wise, he can do 2:53s. And that's on soft tyres, remember. I'm not entirely sure that Stormfly is 100% safe in 8th place at the moment, particularly not while he's got a mistake or two in him. And he's gone into the pits. He does not want those medium tyres. So he has taken an executive decision to sacrifice track position now for quicker tyres. And I don't know if he's listening. He's probably listening to me and thinking, fucking bang on, mate, I'll get rid of this shit right away. So he sacrifices a position, so moves into 9th place behind Arminis. But then, to be fair, he knew Pleasure Craft behind was a long way back, so it did give him that as a potential option. So he knows that what he's got to do is essentially put in, where are we, lap 28, 1 hour 20 minutes into this race. We've got 40 minutes left. So essentially, trying to work out what, so we've done 80 minutes. So 14 laps, essentially. He needs to do 14 qualifying laps. If he does 14 qualifying laps, can he catch Arminis? Possibly. 14 qualifying laps, can he catch Thanos? It's a bigger ask. It's going to have to be. He's going to have to be chunking out more than a second a lap on Thanos to catch him. In terms of catching Wendigo, that's another 9 seconds off the road. He's going to have to be taking chunks of about 2 seconds a lap out of Wendigo if he wants any hope of hitting that top 6. Assuming, of course, that no one in that top 6 puts their car into a wall, water, dies, disconnects, etc., etc., etc. Et al. Right, 1 minute 37 seconds back in an absolute peach of a position. He's on lap 26, sorry, 27. Now on lap 28 as he crosses the line. Just to put it into perspective, Kevin's on lap 29 already, so he's well over a lap clear. Pleasure craft. Pleasure craft is what they call my penis. 1 minute 20 seconds behind Stormfly. Not doing a pace that's going to close that gap any meaningful way. And Dimas, of course, regains second place behind Kevin after TJ went in. Minus back up into third. 2 minutes 10 seconds back is the king of the back markers, Dramos Malone, who's just being lapped again by the little green man of racing, Kevin 77. Alien. That's what I need. If I put something.
Please, guys,
that's not ready for him. I'll tell you what I need. I need like the sound of the alien bursting out of John Wood's chest in the first Alien movie when we talk about Kevin. That's what I'm going to do. I'll have that ready for the next event that Kevin is involved in. Excuse me. Better. You know you when you're hungry. Right, anyway, 43 seconds back. Only the Brits will have any clue what that reference was to. 43 seconds, 41 seconds back, in fact, to Old Man Jay. He's now 1 minute clear of clear to go. Can he close the 40 seconds to try by tomorrow? Interesting question. Consistency is not his friend. You look at Dry Bones Malone, he's had a couple of battles, he had a 3:15, he's had a 3:10, but for the most part he's lapping in between the sort of high 3:02s to the high 3:04s. So 2 second kind of swing for Dry Bones Malone. Did he just clip? It looked like to me like he just clipped the pit entrance there on the way past. Maybe not. Old Man Jay, I mean, yes, he's capable of much quicker laps. He's gone as low as a 2:59.3, you can see there. More recently, he's been low 3:01s. But, you know, he's the spread has gone a low 3:01s out to, 3:09.4. So a much, much bigger spread. If he can, let's just say for argument's sake, not necessarily be chucking out 2:59.3s or 3:01s. If he could chuck out consistent low 3:02s, so just not push as hard, maybe, you know, where he's pushing that extra hard to make it, maybe actually the strategy is to do the opposite and just to back off a little bit, but to guarantee a very kind of steady pace in the 3:02s. Very potentially, there is an opportunity to take 11th place from Drummond along, but not necessarily easy. And that just demonstrates just how far away these back markers are. That's my penis pleasure craft in 10th place. He's about to lap Old Man Jay in 12th. I'm not suggesting the driver is my penis, but I'm just suggesting that's what my penis is called. Right, clear to go, running in 13th place. He's on lap 27, 1 minute back from Old Man Jay. And there is Bandit. He is a lap further back on lap 26. Just hasn't had, he just cannot find a pace at point. But, you know, when it's not your track, tracks take time to learn. And you can see that he's starting to find the rhythm there because he's gone from doing steady 3:26s. You know, that's what we're talking, that's almost half a minute slower than Kevin, who is a yellow flaggy flag, who has crashed. Can't see who it is. It's not Kevin. It's not. Oh, Demos! Demos has a little wobble. That's going to give Midas a bit of impetus to catch him.
You can't park that there, mate.
You cannot park that there. And that has given. That's going to give Midas a little bit of of a ooh. He's actually going to make. I reckon he's actually going to make that noise as well, because he sees how close he can possibly get now, and he's going to give it and start to send it. So the gap is 7.1 seconds. Kevin now almost a minute clear at the front of this race. What do you do to slow this guy down? You know, we've tried handicap things, and then, you know, because he's so bloody good at tuning cars, he just tunes the shit out of them, and it doesn't matter what you do, he's still like 10 seconds a lap quicker than you. So what do you do to stop this alien to close the gap? Because, you know, there's going to be the argument saying, okay, well, if you just practice more, you'll get closer to his time. But it's not even about being close to his time. You know, he's doing 2:49 zeros. Nobody else on the racetrack's done anything lower than a 2:51. And we're talking about the high-end runners. The majority of people on the racetrack are racing around closer to the 3-minute mark. That's getting over 11 seconds a lap quicker. You do anything 11 seconds quicker, and it's bad for those around you. I just don't know what. Demos, you know, he's showing great pace, don't get me wrong. I mean, Demos is quick, but I think you don't get just how quick Demos is, or Midas, or TJ, or Knudsen, or Wendigo. These guys are quick. We're not talking about slow drivers, we're talking about very, very fast drivers. But Kevin's just so ridiculously quick in comparison. It kind of takes away from the ability of everybody else. How do you do it? How can you stop it? Short of going to his house and cut his electricity off halfway through the race, because that's the only way I can see it, in all honesty. But at the moment, he's just looking so quick. And Demos at the moment, best of the rest, really, in second. The gap over to Midas, it is down to 7.6 seconds. That is because Demos had a little wobble going into the bridge, and that's just allowed Midas to close that gap down. But pace-wise, he's not got that extra pace, that extra impetus. What he has got is a shaky, laggy connection that he probably needs to get looked at. 13.666. Excuse me, was the gap to. I don't know why I'm coughing so much today. I've got children, they feed through germs. 13.2 seconds is the gap to TJ. Looking at current lap time, so steady 2:53s for a Midas. And he's just coming up to lap old man Jay. 2:53 low to 2:53 mid for Midas on a regular basis. TJ's just dropped out a little bit. He's done a 2:52.5. We know he's capable of much quicker times than that, but not really putting in the sort of times to land to close on the back of Midas. 14 seconds back is Knudsen. Knudsen looks to me like he's gone into the pits again. Certainly didn't need to put that much fuel on board if he did. He must have pit again, because there's no way he would be that far back with that little tyre wear. So he's been in again, which is fine. Not really sure he needed to. He certainly didn't need to put fuel on board when he went in, if he did. But he's 14 seconds back at TJ. But that does mean now that he can absolutely push. When I say push, I mean hard. I mean like you are tipping a cow down a hill hard. That's how hard he can push now. 14 seconds is the gap to TJ. And in terms of lap times, he's doing very steady, low 53, low 52 to low 53s. So we'll see how that works out. But he's a minute and a half behind the leader Kevin right now. 23.8 seconds is the gap to Wendigo. Where'd he go? There he go, you're right there. He's in the 11.55, which is a beautiful view. To be fair, it looks like a spaceship. I wonder if that's a spaceship that Kevin arrived in. 5.3 seconds is the gap to Thanos. Is he going to be able to close down? His lap times are quite varied, actually. High 52s right through to the high 56s. Not super consistent. But 5.6 seconds to Wendigo, who is doing mid 54s. He He had a 55, he had a 59 last lap, which wasn't great. But generally in the mid-54s. So it looks like Thanos might be able to close that gap for a place in the top 6. Stormfly, it was clear. He had to do 14 qualified laps. Lap 28, we said he's got to do 14 qualified laps. He hasn't really done that yet. 54.8, 54.1, 56.5. That's some way off the pace ahead. It's enough, I think, to keep him out of the reach of Arminius, but it's not enough, I think, to get him into the top half, which I'm sure he'll desperately want to do, and get himself up to 7th position. 22 seconds is the gap back to Arminius. The pace is actually quite similar. It'll only take a spin from Stormfly or Thanos to change this, but you can't rely on the people around you making an error. Talking of error, anybody that gets this beast in their hands is making a massive error. Pleasurecraft, 1.24 minutes. That's not the way you say it, is it? It's 1 minute 24 seconds. He's in a massively great position for himself. Is that he's the only people he's seen on the racetrack are those that are lapping him. He can't see. I mean, the car in front of him is half a lap ahead. Half a lap ahead of him, and the car behind him is half a lap behind him. Practically, well, he's more than that. That's 2 minutes 52. So Dry Bones Malone. Now, has he had a little donk somewhere? I get the impression that he may well have done, because the gap to Old Man J is down to just 24 seconds. When he crosses the line, we'll get a representative lap time, and we'll find out if he has indeed had a donk. Well, he's going into the pits, and he doesn't even need to. Does he need? I bet he needs a poo. I bet he really needs a poo. He's got to have a poo. So he's gone in the pits and he's going to have a poo. Or a wee. Well, he's not changing tyres. And he's not putting on fuel, so he definitely needs a poo. And that's what he's doing, he's going to have a poo. I said that with an air of authority, like I knew that for a fact, but of course I don't. Old Man J moves up then into 11th place. He is miles back from Pleasurecraft, and it's probably the best place to be. You don't want to be hanging around that bad boy. He is in 11th place, Dry Bones Malone into the pits to go for his poo. Cleared to go 1 minute 30 seconds back. Can he catch him? That's the big question. Is he close enough to... how big a poo does Dry Bones Malone need to have? So it's clear to go got enough time to catch him while he poopy. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But the question will certainly be asked.
You have stolen my dreams, my childhood, your empty words.
Wow.
You have stolen my dreams.
Bandit is... wait a minute. The other question here is Bandit going to luck out here while Dry Bones Malone is having a poo? And... I'm sorry, I don't even know that's what we're doing. But Clear to Go does get through, so Rob is through. Question is Bandit. That's 29 for Bandit right now. He is... It's lap 30 for Dry Bones Malone, so he's 13 minutes back from... Hold on, caller. Sorry, my daughter was just going out. I thought she was skinned, but it turns out she's not. There we go. Anyway, so Bandit is 13 minutes back from Kevin. Dry Bones Malone 6 minutes back from Kevin. It's a couple of laps is essentially the difference. Question is, can Bandit catch him? How big is the Dry Bones Malone poo? Is it a dry poo or a wet poo? Too much poop talk. Fastest lap of the race is 2:49.0. Kevin did that on lap 29. He is now 1 minute 14 seconds clear at the front of this race. He could go into, in fact, he could go for a poo and still win this race. Maybe he wants to go and join Drummond's Marone having a poo. 1 minute 15 seconds. Please, I've literally spent 5 minutes on the internet talking about somebody else on shit. I need help, man. I need help. Demos running in second place, comfortable. I say comfortably so. He had a terrible lap on lap 33 with a 3:01, and that has put Midas within 4 seconds of his compatriots and his teammates and his occasional love of them, but that's not true. That's not. You can't say things like that about people. So I'm not going to. So Kevin leads from Demos, Midas in third. That gap is coming down, as is that gap as well. TJ is only 5.4 seconds off the back of Midas. He's starting to put in the laps required for a top 3 finish. Can anybody break this Greek dominance at the front of the pack here? Anyone that's just joining at this stage, and if you are, what the fuck have you been doing that's more important than this? This is Black Flag Racing's Staying Power Endurance Series, round number 3 from the French track of St. Croix. We are 1 hour 37 minutes, and we're almost 20 minutes away from the end of this race. The current championship leader, Kevin 77, is crazily like a minute clear of everybody else. He has done nothing but practice for this track his entire life. He's probably been practicing since like Wednesday, Thursday. But he's miles in the lead. And this will extend his lead at the top of the championship by another few points. He's already 10 points clear after 2 races. This is round number 3. Of course, there's still plenty of races to go. Just to mention, this is sponsored by, where is he? Our very own Old Man Jay, who has fronted for some massive trophies. They're like the size of Nelson's column and made out of solid gold. Or they're 12 inches high and made of plastic and some cheap metal. But the trophies are the same, and the top 3 in this competition will get them to display prominently in the pride of place above on their fridge or above their mantelpiece, next to their most prized possessions. And then when their friends come around, they can show it off and say, look at my trophy that I got for playing computer games for 2 hours every Saturday afternoon for 10 minutes. I've really built that up to be an amazing, fantastic thing. It is a fantastic thing. It's difficult. I mean, it's particularly if, we probably should have posted this guy's out already. There's still places to be made up for. So Demos running in second place is a minute or so behind. The gap to Midas is 4.8 seconds. Second is not decided. Third is not decided. TJ's closed that gap now to 3.6 seconds. So anyone out of Demos, Midas or TJ is going to be second, third or fourth. And I know TJ didn't have the greatest start. He had to fight his way back into the mix there, and now finds himself just knocking on the door of that top 3. And it's starting to get a little bit louder, I think. Thanos into the pits. Why? Because he's running out of fuel. So he underfueled in his last stop. That's going to cost him loads and loads of time. Stormfly goes through, moves up into 7th place. How close is Arminis? Arminis is too far back to capitalise. But Thanos is going to be on some nice fresh tyres at the end of this race. Penalty for him there though. That's a half-second penalty. That'll be for track limits, not the horrible 3-second penalty. So Stormfly lucks out up into 7th place. Thanos now 15 seconds back behind him. We look at this battle here. Knudsen. He's Knudsen. He's Newson. He is up to 5th place. Good, solid performance from Newson, actually. Jumping, I mean, let's be fair. Him and Dry Bones Malone, neither of them were prepared for this race. They didn't know they were going to do it. They probably only found out about this race a couple of hours ago when I knew we had a couple of spaces spare, so I whacked it out there to the wider community. And then Newton jumps into it. He's called Habways. This is what he said. He said, Habways, can I have a rest with you? He said it like that and everything. And we said, yeah, of course you can, man. And he commented in the race with us, and he jumped in, and he only had a couple of 15 minutes to do some laps, and he's doing pretty darn well, running in 5th place, 15 seconds behind TJ, 41 seconds ahead of Wendigo. Remember, Wendigo was running really well in race number 1. I think he didn't finish second to Kevin. I'm sure he finished second or 3rd in race number 1 at Suzuka. Started out quite well at Spa, but he didn't finish quite as strongly as he would have liked, maybe. But there we go, it is what it is. Right, so Wendigo in 6th place, he is 1.5 seconds only clear of Stormfly. Now, has Stormfly slightly underfueled this to the end of the race? Because there's still 20 minutes left to go here, and I think he'll be alright. Those that are better at fuel saving, people like Stormfly, like Kevin. Kevin went like 3 days before he pissed off. And Demons, of course. But mostly everybody else did around 45 to 50 minutes on the half tank of fuel they started on. So yeah, he should be alright. But he's going to have to try, if he wants to beat Wendigo, if he wants to get into that top 6, I mean, he's back in the top half now, if he wants to get in the top 6, he needs to be taking, I would say about half a second a lap out of him. If he can do that on a consistent basis, then he will certainly be in a really, really strong position to zoom past him into 6th position. And talking of Dry Bones Malone, who's no longer having a poo, I know he's still having a poo. I need to go for a pee. Back in a second. Have returned.
How dare you?
Right, so I've been standing up for the last 10 minutes just waiting I'm going to sit back down. Yeah, I wanted to update you actually. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know if I told you about my chair, my really, really comfortable extra chair. And I contacted X-Rock to see if they would sell me the part I needed to fix it. And they very kindly sent me the part for free, which is great. And then the part arrived today, and I thought, brilliant, I'm going to fix that today. It turns out, that part is all really good, but I need another part as well because I can't get the old part off the broken bit. I spent an hour of my time today trying to smash the fucking thing apart to get the bit off that I need. So I need to get back onto it. I'm going to do that this evening actually. Get onto X-Rock and see if they'll send me out the other bit as well. I'm hopefully for free, but I am acutely aware that I've already had one freebie from them. I will probably have to pay for this, and knowing my luck, it will be the more expensive of the 2 parts. Yes, I'm still on a tatty old dining chair, but used to sit in the corner and have a box of crisps on it. Essentially, that's what it was there for. It was tucked away in the corner to store the kids' crisps. Right, so full rundown, shall we? As we move into the final 15 minutes of this 2-hour endurance race here at St. Croix C here on Gran Turismo 7 with Black Flag E-Racing. Black Flag E-Racing is brought to you by Club Newton's Pro and caffeine and vape juice. Kevin leads away 1 minute 5 seconds clear. As he comes around to lap bandit for the 127th time. And I've always been told that I'm very proud of me not. What the hell is going on? Demos, who for so long ran in second place here, is in trouble. He's in big trouble. Him and Kevin disappeared off when he was in the lead of the race, remember? Him and Kevin disappeared off into the great beyond together. Tra-la-la-la-la, they were going all the way up by themselves. And now, Midas up into second place. He was running third. TJ into third. He was running fourth. Now, TJ is putting now the charge on Midas and could very well, not only, we did ask the question, can anybody break the Greek dominance in the top three? Well, TJ's done that. He could go on and steal second place. Last 15 minutes of the race. Let's have a look at the last few laps, shall we? So Midas has done very steady mid-55s with a nice 54.7 chucked in there for posterity's sake. TJ has done loads of high 53s with a nice 52.5 in there and a couple of mid-54s as he gets closer to the back of Midas. Demos has been all over the place like a pissed rabbit in a rabbit house. I couldn't think of this. So this is why I could never write a book. My analogies would be utterly shit. She caressed his thigh like a chicken being rubbed on the side of a bark tree thing. I mean, I'm just crap at it. But his fastest lap was a 151, a 251. Imagine doing this 151.1. That'd be fucking insane. A 251.1 for him. But since then, it's just been all over the gaff. 52.5, 59 fours, 56 threes, a 303. Just can't find any consistency, Demos, in this last 15 minutes. And that can be a problem. And his tyres are looking ropey too. And if you look at TJ, let's show the world, shall we? There's Midas' tyres. He's leading. There's some sign of wear there, but they should last to the end of this race. TJ, really, really good condition. No worries there. No worries for fuel either. Demos has burnt that fuel and burnt loads of it and taken loads out of tyres. And he's got to try now and fight his way back into the top three. The problem is not only has he got to do that, he might have to worry about Knudsen behind, who's putting in low 52s, lap or mid to low 52s, lap after lap after lap. Now, based on the fact that Demos has done, let's take the lowest one there as 54, a high 54. Then we've got Knudsen behind doing mid to high 52s. That's 2 seconds a lap. We're on lap 38. There are probably about 5 or 6 laps. What are we looking at? Sort of 10 minutes left, 3 minutes left at 69. So you're looking at about 4 laps. 4 laps remaining. If he does that 2 seconds a lap, he's caught him. And Demos is going to find that he's not first anymore. He lost first to Kevin, and then was in second for so long. But it just goes to show that 2 hours, you have to keep your wits about. You have to be switched on from minute 1 to minute 120. And you see how I bust out that head math right there, like a Rachel Riley of motorsport. Knudsen, he's going to be one to watch right now. Stormfly is up into 6th. The gap to Knudsen is like insurmountable at this stage. And what he does have to do is make sure that he just improves that consistency. Bad lap that one, 2:59 as Wiggy jumps in. Lastminute.com to have a look and see what's occurring. I'm assuming his race finished, and I hope it went well for you, Wiggy, my friend. I hope it went well. Right, so Stormfly 6 seconds or 6.7 seconds back to Wendigo. Wendigo's going to need to find, similar to Knudsen, 2 seconds a lap for the rest of this race to steal 6th place. Thanos is 7.2 seconds back from Wendigo. Similar situation for him. If you want to gain a place now, about 2.5 seconds a lap you need to do, my friend. Get on with it. We haven't got all fucking day. Arminis, I don't think, 58 seconds. Similar to the situation that Stormfly's in. It's an insurmountable amount of time. He is relying on Crasher-Rooney's up ahead to gain any more places. And there is the man named after my penis pleasure craft. 1 minute 15 seconds, tucked in behind Wendigo there to try and unlap himself. Wendigo will not want his teammate from the Lithuanian Racing Club that close behind when he is trying to chase down Stormfly. Old Man J up to 11th place. About 3 minutes back from Pleasurecraft, so like 36 to Pleasurecraft 37. He's 1 minute clear now of clear to go. This is clear to go. There he is. He is himself 5 minutes clear of Bandit, who has been buoyed by the fact that Dry Bones Malone 20 minutes ago went for a poo and never came back out again. Maybe he's fallen into the toilet and just finds himself flushed away. This is what I like to call a soft rage quit. It's like rage quitting but without the actual rage. He's just in there. Well, to be fair, he could do that part up on the side of the road, giving flags to all, but he's in the pits instead. Right, so Kevin leads the way. TJ makes the move past Midas. He's up into second place here as he makes that charge towards the end of this race, and those extra points that second place will bring. That is a really, really good move. He splits the Greeks, and usually to do something like that you need a crowbar, but this time he does it just with a Porsche. And now he's got to pull away. 1.5 seconds is the gap back to Midas. Can Demos catch his brethren, his brother-in-arms, and do anything about that? Or has he got to worry about Knudsen? Because Knudsen is now just 2.1 seconds behind as we move into the final portion of the entertainment this evening. And that being this chase down to the 2 hour mark. Lap 39. 2 more laps for me. 3 more laps for me. No, 2 more laps. 3 minutes a lap just under. It's going to be 3 more laps because you're going to have like the extra time over at the end. So Knudsen, and there's a yellow flag. Who has crashed? I'm trying to find him. I can't find who's crashed. Someone has. It's not him. It's Bandit. Bandit has crashed.
You can't park that there, mate.
And for some reason he's trying to drive the other way into the wall. Can't drive that direction, mate. Right, so TJ with a penalty, but the gap is 2.2 seconds. Now, how devastating is that penalty though? I haven't actually noticed where the penalty line is here. Track's so fucking long that I can't find it. We'll have a look and see where he served the penalty. He just puts in his best sector of the race. Last lap was a 2:54.5. Midas with a 2:57.7. Demos with a 2:56.3. While Knudsen chucks in a 2:53.3. 1.2 seconds now is the gap from Knudsen to Demos, and that is getting so. Now, but we've got with it. You've got to put this in perspective. At the end of lap 1, Demos was leading this race, and he had Kevin behind him. By lap 2, Kevin was behind him in second place. Somewhere on lap 3, he loses the lead to Kevin, but they are almost 50 seconds clear. At one stage of this race, the top 2 were 15 seconds clear of anybody else and looking to be uncatchable. Now, we're staring at the back of Demos' car with an onboard with Knudsen in 5th, and he is closing. Ahead of Demos is Midas. Ahead of Midas is TJ, and even more perspective here is TJ was one of the back markers at the end of lap 1 after a lot of carnage on that first lap, driving like an absolute demon. These Group 1 cars is a specialist area for TJ. That and touching little boys' penises, they're the 2 things he's really, really good at. Driving, I'm trying to have a straight face, just gone. Driving Group 1 cars and touching little boys' penises are the 2 things that he is absolutely good at. Oh my God, Right, so minute 2, Kevin, that's not going to change, of course it's not. But he is, Midas is coming back at him. He had 2.5 seconds. He served that penalty. Now Midas is coming back at him. How close is he going to be to get him? He's coming at you like Cleopatra. He's giving it to... And TJ is just hoping that the spirits of Mr. Thunberg just says...
You have stopped my dreams, my childhood, your empty words.
Although that doesn't happen. Now think saving grace here. Midas, you have to think a little bit about fuel. TJ's all right for fuel. Demos, he's not just be thinking about fuel. And Demos, oh my days, it's going from bad to worse for Demos. He is now in 5th place. Newton didn't even have to make the overtake. Demos loses control of his car. He's got very little fuel remaining. He has got 1 lap to go. And he's got to hope he's got enough fuel to make it. Newton up into 4th. 4 seconds is the gap between him and Midas. His last lap was a 2:53.0. Midas did a 2:54.3. So, can he catch him? It's going to be a very, very big ask. As Tri-Bones Malone leaves the room, he's finished his poo, and he's come back and he's left the room in last place. Unfortunately, that will go down as a dumph. My friend, a dumph. And would you not like dumphs when you just leave the room? Man, not fair. Right, so Kevin leads. That's not ever going to beat him down. He's going to get 1 more lap, so do lap 42. TJ, this is going to be his final lap of the race, or is it? Now the problem is, he's going to have to do another lap, because he's going to have to keep the pace up. If the gap was bigger behind, he might consider slowing down, finishing on lap 41, because he won't catch Kevin. But he's going to have to do 1 more lap after this. Minus 2.1 seconds behind him, but has he got the fuel to go 42 laps? I think he might well just have it. We said everything he touched. Well, this is the thing. So Midas was, we said everything he touches turns to gold. He didn't, it turned to bronze, and he's in 3rd. For so long, he was in 3rd. And then, you know, the car in front of him, in Demos, has just all goes wrong. And instead of Midas being the one to capitalise, it's TJ. TJ just got everything right and up in 2 seconds. Newton has closed that gap to 2.7 seconds. There are 1 minute 2 seconds remaining, and at this pace, the top 4 all going to get a 40-second lap. And I don't mean they're going to do a lap in 40 seconds. I mean it's going to be the 42th lap. That's real proper English, innit? Get me. Right, Kevin the leader, TJ in 2nd, Midas in 3rd. This is where we find out who gets across that line. I think we're going to see Demos finishing in 5th on lap 41, and it's probably just as well because that fuel is not going 1 more lap after this. So 30 seconds remaining, just a couple of corners left. All these guys are going to get that last lap. Now, Newton was over 4 seconds behind Midas at the beginning of lap 41. As they come to the beginning of lap 42, the gap is only 1.8 seconds, and he could very well catch him in this final lap. Now, actually, I'm wondering whether Demos is close enough to get a 40-second lap with such bad fuel. Now, the thing is, he'll be okay. It won't really matter as he crosses the line. No, and he does finish in 5th place. So that's a 5th place finish for Demos. All the other 4 go on, so we can watch Stormfly. Stormfly will come home in 5th place in 52 seconds, actually. Quite some time. So I want to have a quick look at the back, see where else we are. So we've lost Tri-Bones Malone is gone. Bandit in 13th place, just being lapped there by Wendigo again. Clear to go Rob, he's finished in 12th. Old man Jay, he's getting, he's on his final lap now. Him finishing in 11th place, over a minute ahead. Clear to go. And quite some way behind Pleasure Craft. But how close is Newton? Newton's got that down to 1.1 seconds. There's some really long straights coming up. They're only out of, just coming out of sector 2. And he's getting much closer to Midas. Let's have a look at tyres and fuel for Midas, because this is where it's going to be key. Those tyres looking ropey, that fuel looking ropey. Newton's in a really, really good position. Is he going to do the rookie thing of jumping into a new group, day one, jumping into a car an hour after joining the team and finding himself on the podium, waving his hands aloft like a joyful Viking, and saying, I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm ready to drink beer, or something wrong. I use the word queer because I'm not suggesting that. I'm not making a sexual orientation suggestion. But what I am watching is news. I hate for time to make disclaimers. I'm not making it like a fucking right, anyway, so Kevin wins this race by some significant margin. I forgot, to be fair. Right, so here comes TJ. Stormfly comes in 6th, Thanos in 7th, Wendigo in 8th, Harmonious in 9th place. And we do want to watch this battle. How close is Newton now? It is 6/10 of a second. We're going into this last tricky little section. Can Midas keep him at bay? Because at the moment he is looking like Newton is going to be right on his arse as they cross the line. And I don't know if Midas has got enough fuel or enough tyres to keep him at bay. He may just nick this 3rd position, but it is going to be squeaky bum time. Coming into the last few corners, Newton not quite close enough to make the move now, I don't think. So let's go on with TJ. There he is, he's going to come home in 2nd. Great drive from him. If we were voting for drivers of the day, that'd be the guy to be getting it, but we don't, so he's not. But he will cross the line in 2nd. That's a great 2nd place from TJ. Very well deserved in all honesty. Midas will come home in 3rd with Newton almost in the boot of that car. That's a great performance from Newton as well. In 4th. Demos in 5th. Stormfly in 6th, and etc. But there is your winner, Kevin 77. Winner of the 3rd race in a row. Are there extra points for spinning the car? Only if you spin it the other way, basically like you go like somersaults. So no, that's essentially the answer. But there we go, all done and dusted. Another 2 hours out of the way. We're back next week for some more. Where are we next week, people? Shall we have a look? Actually, I want to do, before I do any of that, I can do 2 things at once, can't I? Because I can multitask. I want to just make sure I screenshot these results. So I've got them, and they are there, and they are ready. So I can make sure I put them up and do it correctly, because that gives me gives me the best laps as well, which I will put in. Right. So next week we are where? I hear you ask. Oh yeah, the neighbour complained about his dog, which is why he had to jump off. So he wasn't going for a poo at all. So that's where I want to go, and I want to take a look at the calendar, which is that. So St Croix done, because today's Saturday the 4th of March, and that's finished, that's done and dusted. We are at Bathurst next week for 2 hours, and if you like 2 hours around Bathurst, we've got a couple of teams going in for 12 of the fuckers at Bathurst in May, at the beginning of May. More details to come on that. But what more to say other than thank you very much for joining me and Samuel. I've actually that didn't work, did it? For joining me and Samuel and Greta Thunberg. I've been umpire. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with the Staying Power Endurance Series. Back tomorrow for the Lithuanian GR3 Championship from 7:15 p.m. Stay frosty, mofos.